Welcome to Grammar Challenge 12.1, everybody. Let's take a look at the grammar notes that are laid out for us and then get to the challenge. First phrase we have is emphatic negation. We're going to build this phrase up from a number, e. We always use e in this case, plus a measure word, a noun. Then we're either going to use the do or yeah. We have a choice there. And then depending on the verb or the adjective, we're going to use may to negate it or bu to negate that verb. So it kind of depends. If you're talking about something that hasn't happened, then you're going to use may, 我没吃, 我没喝. But if you're talking about something that you don't do or you don't like, well, it might be 不喜欢, right? To make a blanket statement about something you don't do. And then the other option here is to just replace the measure word and the noun component with if it's not a countable type of a thing, then you might just say 一点儿. So if you don't want to have certain things put in your food, you might say 一点儿都不放, 一点味精都不放. So if you didn't want to have that MSG in your food, 一点儿都不放, 一点儿肉都不放. So if you're a vegetarian, you might tell them that. The other way to compose this sentence is to use the topic comment structure. In that case, your noun is really, this noun thing is going to come at the beginning of the sentence, and then you might actually put in a subject as well in there to say whether or not it's you or somebody else, and that would go where this noun is right now, before the do or the yeah. Hope that's clear. There's a lot of examples in the book, so look to those examples to learn how to do this pattern better. There's a lot of them in there. Okay, the next pattern that we have is this adverb called 多 or 少. They're both acting as an adverb in this case, more or less verb. So if we want to do something either more or do something less, then we put 多 or 少 before the verb. So we might say 多放点糖 to say, you know, you need to add a little sugar. 多放点糖. Okay. 多说点中文. So in that case, we want to speak a little bit more Chinese. Next up, the book kind of describes the difference between 刚 and 刚才. This is pretty subtle. If you don't quite get this all the time, get it right all the time, chances are people are going to understand you just fine. But if you want to be particular about things, 刚 is a adverb, and it's going to come before a verb and then describe that verb. And 刚才 is more of a time word. So you might think of 刚才, use 刚才where you might use words like 现在 or 以前 or 今天. And replace it with 刚才, so that to mean that something had happened recently, very recently, just before. Whereas 刚 might be just alone, may just be describing a change of that situation that took place very recently. So there's a lot of examples in the book. Take a look at a lot of those examples and exceptions to rules. And negative examples too, if you like to learn that way. There's a lot of don't do this kind. Don't say, you wouldn't say 刚才 in this situation where you would say 刚. So there's a lot of those, but again, it's pretty subtle. If you don't get it right all the time, chances are you're going to be understood just fine. Resultative complements are kind of finish up the grammar patterns for this lesson. They're useful they're useful phrases, verb phrases, and they're composed of either a verb-verb or verb-adjective kind of combination. So we have words like 卖完 or 找错 or 看清楚, 听清楚, 写对, to write something correctly. So the adjective, the second component there, is describing how that first part is being done. 找错 would be you found something incorrectly, which would mean that you just gave the wrong something up. 找错钱 would mean you gave me the wrong change. So it depends on what that verb means in that context. 卖完 in the context of this dialogue. If something is sold out at restaurants, they'll typically use the resultative complement that way to say 卖完. To negate resultative complements, you'd use 没, 没看清楚, 没卖完. 还没卖完 might also occur. And then 好 can also be used as a resultative complement to mean that something's done or something is finished, done well even. 做好，饭做好了。做 to do, 好 just means ready. You can have this with a lot of different verbs. 准备 is another one that we learned, to prepare. 准备好了吗? So you might hear me say that in class a lot. Before we do 听写, I might ask you, 听写准备好了吗? Are you ready to go? And you can say 准备好了. And that brings us to the grammar challenge. So you're going to use the 刚才 as a time word to describe something you just did, and then after that use 多 or 少 plus a verb to make a comment on how you need to do more or less of something related to that location or that activity that you 刚才 did. Okay, and so have fun with that. Maybe throw in a resultative complement just for fun to see if you can get that right as well, and we'll see you in class.